Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jeffrey Epstein Show. I'm your host, Bobbycapucci, and this is a morning update. Hey, what's going on, everybody? So, the whole entire world is an absolute dumpster fire. Everybody hates everybody else. The media would have you think that all of your neighbors hate you and that you should hate them. And that there's no good people left in the whole entire world. That's the way you feel if you're watching the news. That's the way you feel if you don't turn that TV off. So my advice to you, turn the TV off. Certainly not doing you any good today. All they're trying to do is get you riled up. All they're trying to do is to get you so fired up that you can't turn the TV off because you can't miss 1 minute of the rage porn that is being pumped through the airwaves. And it doesn't matter what channel you turn on. Just a different flavor of the same dish. And me personally, I am so sick and tired of it. I am so tired of the gaslighting. I am so tired of the bullshit in general. All of these people have led us to where we are today. All of their divisive rhetoric, all of their bullshit in the media, their lies, their deceitfulness, their fake sources, their attempt to drive a wedge between the American people has succeeded. So we should all just give ourselves a round of applause for falling directly into the trap of the super elite, for falling directly into the hands of the very people we're here railing about on a regular basis. Personally, I'm opting the F out. I will have nothing to do with it. I will not hate my neighbor. I will not hate somebody who has a different opinion than me. Never going to happen. No matter the gaslighting, no matter the extreme public pressure to get on board, I don't give a shit about any of that. There is not one single person on this planet that can force me to do something or think some way. And I certainly will not be gaslit by these jerk-offs in the media. Ever. And anybody cheering about people getting killed at a protest, no matter what side of the argument you're on, give yourself a punch to the mouth and then shake your head about 500 times. Because you're part of the problem. And if that resonates with you, then I guess I'm speaking directly to you. Because I believe in humanity. I believe that nobody deserves to lose their life at a protest or when they're resisting arrest without a weapon, like George Floyd, or any of those situations. None of that's okay with me. And the people that cheer it and try to use these things as a wedge to divide people are the absolute biggest dirtbag scumbags on the face of the earth. And inevitably, they turn out to be the same people who were giving Jeffrey Epstein and all of the people like Jeffrey Epstein cover for so long. So folks, please, whenever you're watching that shit, just remember that they're looking to elicit a response from you. They're looking to get you into your emotions. They're looking to get you fired up and to hate your neighbors. Do you know why? Because that means tomorrow night you're going to have to run home to see what Hannity says so that you can have your confirmation bias scratched. And all the while, they don't care about you. They don't care about even the messaging that they're pumping. It's all about clicks, it's all about money, and it's all about you tuning into their program. That's why they're throwing out all of that red meat, and that's why I find them all to be highly irresponsible. And there's going to be a reckoning for all of these independent content creators too. All of these people that pumped all of this false bullshit for all of these years to get people fired up. Trust the plan. It's coming. And then kicking the can down the road. Oh no, it's coming next. Well, there's going to be a reckoning with your listeners. All those people you lied to for all of those years, who you told there was this operation going on behind the scenes. No, there wasn't. There never was. It was a gigantic psyop. And unfortunately, people wanted to believe it because of their confirmation bias. And I'm not too mad at the people who believed it and who got sucked into it. It's human nature. My problem is with these people who actually pumped this shit when they knew it was bullshit, just for a profit, and there's a lot of them out there. All right, so today, on topic, we're going to hop back over the pond. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the Joe Exotic of the Windsor family. And, folks, he's such a great guy that he's coming out and saying that, he's not going to push for an immediate royal return because, he's sensitive to the public's mood. Could this guy be any more tone deaf? Could this guy be any more of an absolute moron? It's not up to you if you're coming back, you idiot. In fact, I'll let you know now, you're not coming back, okay? I'll go out on a limb here. You are not coming back to polite society, you'll never be welcomed back in, and no matter what sort of maneuvering you think you're going to be involved in, or no matter what sort of tricks you think you're going to be able to pull, the fact of the matter is this: your bed has been made, now it is time to take a nap in it. Alright, so our article is from the Mirror. Headline: Prince Andrew won't push for immediate royal return as he's sensitive to public mood. I mean, talk about tone deaf. If you were sensitive to the public mood, that wouldn't be the comment you were making, right? That wouldn't be what you were saying or what your people would be saying. You would be saying nothing. You'd shut your mouth and you'd go and speak to the authorities. This dude is living in an absolute alternate reality where he truly believes that there is coming out the other end on this for him. Like he's going to come out with a nice clean kit. That's going to make his downfall all that more scrumptious. Prince Andrew will not push for a return to frontline royal duties while the Jeffrey Epstein legal saga is ongoing, as he is sensitive to the public mood. A source close to the Duke of York, part of his legal team I'm guessing, or one of the PR knuckleheads, said that his future role will only be resolved once the legal process has concluded. Well, once the legal process has concluded, you might find yourself in a lot more jeopardy than just somebody worried about their status as a royal. This dude has not answered one single question under oath. In fact, he has done everything in his power to avoid it. So how could he or anyone around him think that he's going to make this great grand recovery and show back up in the royal family as a working royal? Not going to happen. Andrew faces questions over his relationship with the late pedophile financier who is alleged to have trafficked sex slaves. Yeah? Alleged to have trafficked sex slaves? I think it's pretty much a foregone conclusion at this point what Jeffrey Epstein was, okay? You don't have to worry about him suing you either. He's dead, all right? He's not going to sue you. He's not going to come back and say, oh, you called me an alleged sex offender and not I'm really a sex offender. That's what he really should say, right? But it always cracks me up when they're like, the late pedophile financier who was alleged to have. Alleged? No, it's pretty obvious what happened, okay? Pretty obvious what occurred here. These include claims by Virginia Roberts that she was made by Epstein to have sex with the Joe Exotic of the Windsor family. The Duke, who stepped back from royal duties after a disastrous BBC interview on the claims in 2019, strongly denies any wrongdoing. Yeah, all of those Nazis at the Nuremberg trial, they strongly denied any wrongdoing as well. A bunch of serial killers and a bunch of murderers have strongly denied any wrongdoing all the way to the electric chair. So his denials don't mean anything to me. Denials without any proof are just words, and words are wind. Last year it was reported that he was keen to return to a frontline role, but he now accepts, this is unlikely it is claimed, he now accepts, Talk about being delusional. Imagine being so caught up in your own hubris and your own hype that you really think or thought that you were going to make some grand comeback and show up to all kinds of pomp and circumstance and a party and, the bells ringing in your name after you've been accused of taking part in a human sex trafficking ring and having relations with an underage girl at the behest of her captor? You really think that you're just going to make this grand re-entry onto the stage of public life? Oh, look, I'm not an English citizen, right? Certainly don't live in England, but from where I'm sitting, I highly doubt that the people of England would be anywhere near okay with this dude making some sort of comeback. And in fact, all you have to do is take a look at the comments, not only on Twitter, but elsewhere. And it's very apparent that the mood in England is that they want nothing to do with Prince Andrew as a representative of them, their country, or the monarchy. And the sooner this guy realizes it, accepts it, and understands it, the better off everybody's going to be. The delusions of grandeur must stop. He must understand that when he wakes up in the morning, he puts his pants on like everybody else. And when the wheels of justice come turning and the investigators come a-knocking, he has no other choice but to either live in infamy with his silence or speak with the investigators. Last month, the Queen was reported to have created a new team of 8 royals who would carry out royal engagements with Andrew left in the cold. So that should come as no shock. What do you think? The Queen is going to just have this guy running around and representing them? Having them deal with all of the questions in the media and the fallout from Epstein? That's really what you think they want to deal with? Oh, it's not because they care about the survivors. It's not because the Queen feels remorse because of the allegations. She doesn't. It's because they want to save face, right? They don't want to have to deal with it. So the best way to do that is not to have Andrew as part of the firm, as part of the crew, as part of the 8 royals, the team of 8. Let's just forget about him. Let's just bury him on his little piece of property here, and we'll forget he even exists. That's the best course of action for the royal family. So I don't know what this guy's thinking, trying to show up there and act like he's going to get back into the fold. We all know that it's all about public image, and that is the number one thing that they're looking at throughout this whole thing. Their image. How can we make sure our image is not tarnished due to Jeffrey Epstein? Point blank, period. That is what the royal family cares about, in my opinion. U.S. prosecutors are keen to speak to the Duke of York following the arrest of Ghislaine Maxwell, who is awaiting trial on child sex offenses. Yeah, no doubt about that. And who the hell knows what Ghislaine Maxwell knows about Prince Andrew and his behavior? Who the hell knows what Ghislaine Maxwell knows about other things that Prince Andrew might have been involved in? Now, I'm not saying there is other stuff, but who knows? We all know that Maxwell certainly is the gatekeeper. We all know that she certainly has the keys to where all of the skeletons are buried. And if Andrew has any secrets that he wants kept, then he has to be very, very, very paranoid that Ghislaine Maxwell, to try and save herself, is going to offer him up. And I would not be shocked if when all is said and done, we see that there was a lot of rolling over going on by these people on each other in order to try and save themselves. These are serious crimes with serious penalties if convicted. And none of these people are built for the life of the bars behind prison. None of them. Look at Jeffrey Epstein for the little bit of time he was there. That's just a little taste of what you would get on the main line. U.S. prosecutor Jeffrey Berman claimed Andrew has repeatedly declined to be interviewed despite fresh calls to do so following Maxwell's arrest in July. And we know that it's because, here's the problem. The federal government of the United States wants to do an interview in person, and Andrew isn't having it. He wants to give a written response so that he is not being cross-examined and that the chance that he perjures himself will decrease dramatically then. But if he's sitting there in front of them face to face, all bets are off. They're going to do their best to catch him in a lie, and they're going to do their very best to make sure that they have something that they can charge him with, criminally speaking. He is reportedly prepared to give a written statement, but has not agreed to be interviewed face-to-face. And I just explained why. That is exactly why. It is always better to give a written statement that your lawyers can help you with and you can polish up and you can make sure all of your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed. Way easier to do that. But if you have to sit across from somebody and it's bam, 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 and they're just firing off question after question after question, and you don't really have the truth on your side, well, it's going to be a whole different ballgame. And we see that Andrew's people are shrewd enough to understand this, and they're hip enough to the fact that he would be in extreme jeopardy if he sat down with them. So I don't expect that to be ever something that they agree to. The Duke's representatives have declined to comment, saying, "We cannot comment on the legal process, as any communications would be covered by the DOJ's own confidentiality rules, which we have always observed." And you see, they always love to do that, right? Oh, well, there's an investigation in progress. We can't comment on that. Or there's rules that we have to follow, until they don't have to follow the rules, right? Just the typical behavior of the federal government. Andrew's representatives also declined to shed light on whether the public is paying for his legal and PR representation, saying, "I'm afraid we would never comment on the contractual terms of the working group." That's something that needs to be addressed. Are the taxpayers paying for this dude? They shouldn't be, and I'm pretty sure that the English will be absolutely incensed if they are. In the middle of a pandemic, you're paying for this rich dude's legal defense? When he's being charged with heinous crimes and alleged to be involved in some pretty gross shit? For some reason, I don't think that's going to sit well with the British. The Royal has previously dismissed the allegations by Miss Roberts, who claimed she had sex with him at Maxwell's London home in 2001. In a car crash interview, Hindenburg level, with the BBC, he claimed Miss Roberts' stories couldn't be true because he was at a birthday party with his daughter Beatrice on March 10th of 2001. A party that Beatrice doesn't really remember, huh? An alibi that she couldn't corroborate, his own daughter. So, yeah, it shows you how much that alibi is worth. Miss Roberts, who was 17 at the time, alleges that she partied with the Duke of York at West End nightclub Tramp that night before they went back to Miss Maxwell's home. A photo, which is thought to have been taken at around the same time, shows Andrew with his arms around Miss Roberts, who was in 2001. So that picture really tells the story, right? Everything that this guy says, after he says he wasn't even in that picture with her, has to be looked at as a lie, in my opinion. If you're going to try and gaslight us and tell us that the picture's not even you, how can you expect us to believe anything that you're saying? In heartbreaking testimony, she says she was pressured into having sex with pals of pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, a friend of Andrew's. At the time, British socialite, co-conspirator, general all-around scuzzbag, fellow child abuser and bipedal serpent Maxwell, who is currently facing trial in the U.S. in connection with her role in the scandal, was Epstein's girlfriend? Yeah, let's change that real quick. Co-conspirator. Right? Underboss. Other person with a leadership role. But girlfriend? Yeah, let's kill that shit, okay? During the weekend in question, Andrew reportedly had one police protection officer on duty. The Mirror has previously requested to see details of the Duke security team's movements under the Freedom of Information Act, but the Metropolitan Police refused to release it. Oh, I wonder why. I mean, you would think that the English police, they'd be all over it. They'd be trying to get to the bottom of this, considering that authorities in America want to speak with him, authorities in France want to speak with him, but it sure seems like Scotland Yard and the police in England are dragging their feet, almost as if they don't want this to come out. Miss Roberts claims she had sex with the Duke on 3 occasions, once in London, once in New York, and in the Caribbean. Denying the London allegation, Andrew said he had taken Beatrice, then 12, 5 years younger than his accuser, to a Pizza Express in Woking, Surrey for a party. And again, we know that that's a really weak alibi, really weak, and it can't be corroborated. The police protection information won't even be turned over. So what do they expect people to think? Do they expect people just to believe the narrative? Because those days are over. I mean, I guess there's a segment of the population that believes the narrative when it fits their confirmation bias. But for the most part, nobody's believing your narrative about this stuff. Challenged by BBC Newsnight interviewer Emily Maitlis how he remembered so precisely, he responded, "Because going to Pizza Express in Woking is an unusual thing for me to do. I've only been to Woking a couple of times, and I remember it weirdly distinctly. As soon as someone reminded me of it, I went, oh yes, I remember that." Does that sound like that would work in front of an interrogator, in front of a seasoned investigator? It most certainly won't. And that, my friends, is why Prince Andrew, the Joe Exotic of the Windsor family, is so adamant about giving a written statement, and why he is so scared to speak to investigators. If you'd like to contact me, you can do that at bobbycapucci@protonmail.com. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI@protonmail.com. You can also find me on Twitter at BOBBY_CAPUCCI. All of the links that go with this episode can be found in the description box. All right, everybody, I'll be back later on, and we will pick up where we left off.